We had been planning this camping trip for months. It was supposed to be a reunion of sorts, just the five of us who had been inseparable in college, but had drifted apart over the years. The remote forest we chose was perfect. No cell service, no distractions, just us and nature. The first night around the campfire was perfect. We laughed, shared old stories, and marveled at the clarity of the night sky. It felt just like old times. We set up our tents and drifted off to sleep. The sound of the forest lulling us into a peaceful slumber. But that peace did not last long. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of someone crying. It was distant, almost ethereal, but unmistakable. I unzipped my tent and stepped out, finding Jake already outside, flashlight in hand. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. I nodded and we both scanned the perimeter of our camp with our lights. The crying seemed to be coming from deeper in the woods. "Maybe it's someone who's lost," I suggested, trying to keep my voice steady. "We should check it out," Jake said, and against my better judgment, I agreed. We waked the others, and armed with flashlights and a sense of duty, we headed into the darkness. The crying grew louder, more desperate, and we quickened our pace. It wasn't until we reached a small clearing that we realized the sound had stopped. The air was thick with an oppressive silence. Where is it coming from?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know, but we should go back," Emily replied, her eyes wide with fear. Then we heard the laughter, deep, guttural, and echoing from all around us. Panic set in and we started to run, but the forest seemed to close in on us. Trees that hadn't been there before blocked our path. We were trapped. "Stay together," Jake shouted, but it was too late. Someone grabbed him from behind, pulling him into the darkness. His screams echoed through the trees, then abruptly stopped. We ran, our breaths ragged, heart pounding in our chest. One by one, they were taken. Sarah vanished into the shadows, her flashlight dropping to the ground. Emily's terrified shrieks were cut off suddenly, leaving only an eerie silence in their wake. By dawn, it was just me and Mark. We found ourselves back at the campsite, exhausted and terrified. The sun's rays offered little comfort. Our friends were gone, and we had no idea what had taken them. "We have to get out of here," Mark said, his voice barely a whisper. We packed up what little we could carry and started to hike back toward the trailhead. But the forest seemed different now, more sinister. The path we had taken was gone, replaced by dense underbrush. Then I heard it again, the crying. It was right behind me. I turned to warn Mark, but he was already gone, dragged into the darkness by something unseen. I ran, my legs burning, tears streaming down my face. I don't know how long I ran, but eventually I stumbled into a small clearing. There in the center was a single tent, old and tattered, as if it had been there for years. I approached cautiously and opened it, only to find a journal inside. The last entry chilled me to the bone. They come at night, drawn by the living. The forest is their domain, and we are but trespassers. If you find this, run and don't look back. I'm writing this now, my hands shaking because I know my time is running out. The sun is setting and I can hear the crying again. If anyone finds this, know that we didn't leave. We didn't get lost. The forest took us. It will take you too. Run. Run and don't look back.